In the wake of the shattering, the lands between fell into an age of conflict and stagnation. In this environment, animals have been able to thrive and occupy regions left abandoned by declining populations. Although they might seem insignificant, some animal species are actually connected to the game's background lore. In this video, we'll examine the game's wildlife and what we can learn from them. Crabs are commonly found around the coastlines, rivers, and lakes of the lands between. They vary in size, with the larger varieties being far more aggressive. In real-life biology, there's a phenomenon called carcinization. It refers to the idea that crustaceans tend to develop crab-like morphology. This might explain the large variety of crabs encountered throughout the game. Like most aquatic wildlife in Elden Ring, crabs typically drop white flesh, which qualifies them as bloodless creatures. Land squirts are stationary creatures that release poisonous gas when threatened. They are based on real creatures called sea squirts, also known as tunicates, that are actually served as a dish in some restaurants. Tunicates' life cycles begin as tadpole-like larvae. Then, they attach to the sea floor and become filter feeders as adults. Elden Ring's land squirts are only partially submerged in water, so perhaps they sustain themselves on insects rather than plankton particles. Maybe they evolved to live on the surface due to decreasing water levels across the lands between, a theory supported by several other details. Giant crayfish predominantly dwell in shallow waters. Much like crabs, they make for a good source of tasty food, as evidenced by Blackguard Boggart's questline.
Never met someone with a taste for prawn I couldn't trust. We'd make good mates, I reckon.
These are easily the most dangerous crustaceans in-game, though, having claimed many a tarnished's life over the years. Land octopuses resemble writhing masses of tentacles. These creatures exhibit high durability to most forms of damage, except for direct attacks to their beak, which is nestled between their many appendages. Interestingly, their reproductive system relies on human blood. Considering how many of them there are on the map, they've probably been scavenging on the war victims that resulted from the shattering wars, allowing them to multiply. There are 4 types of snails in Elden Ring, each variant having adapted to its environment. Curiously, they all seem more serpentine in form than real snails, suggesting they share a common ancestor with some of the larger snakes referenced in-game. The Spirit Caller variant stands out from the others, as it possesses a unique ability. They can summon spirits by emitting a ringing sound, akin to a spirit calling bell. These summons are likely based on individuals they observed in the past, which suggests a surprising degree of intelligence on their part. Dragonflies are commonly found near rivers and other bodies of water. Looking at them closely, they possess much larger mandibles than real dragonflies. They also sport a second set of smaller mandibles and spiky ends to their tails. These features are curiously similar to malformed stars, the alien entities from outer space. Elden Ring's giant ants are often found in groups, mostly underground or in arboreal environments. Ants are highly diligent and communal creatures. Much like their real-life counterpart, they are divided into different castes, including workers, warriors, and egg-laying queens. A number of items have been fashioned out of ant body parts, such as Malay Marae's rapier. The Nox use giant ants as mounts, though one detail suggests they aren't really domesticated. Lulling them to sleep seems to break a trance, causing them to turn on their masters. These ones aren't actually queens, but rather honeypot ants that basically act as living food stores for the colony. This explains why they tend to drop many runes. The ones in deep-root depths contain many Numen's runes, most likely originating from scavenged remains in nearby Noclateo. Elden Ring features several species of real birds, including eagles and guillemots. Both species generally roost on cliffs and elevated places, away from populated areas. In the lands between, 4 toed feet are associated with luck, as opposed to having 3 digits, which illustrates the finger's influence over the realm's folklore. Many of these birds are found in the Land of Shadow, possibly hinting that they are able to fly there from the lands between. If that's true, then it supports the theory that the Shadow Realm is physically present somewhere near the main continent, merely obscured from view under Marika's veiling illusion. As their name implies, stormhawks are primarily found near windy areas. Several hints suggest they might be connected to ancient dragons, such as Nephili's dialogue. They're also connected to the Storm Lord, who probably was a giant hawk himself. In more recent times, Godric the Grafted has been using Stormvale's hawks as warbirds, slicing off their talons and replacing them with swords. This plays into his characterization of a cruel despot obsessed with emulating his ancestors' past glory. There are 2 owl variants in Elden Ring. Many clues suggest they might be spies of Saint Trina, Miquella's alter ego. Owls are generally considered wise creatures, originally owing to Greek mythology, a trait that applies to Saint Trina. Their eggs are slumbering and never actually hatch. They have a unique sleep animation that has them standing on one leg, just like real-life owls. The horned variant from the Shadowland drops Nectarblood Burgeon, an exceedingly rare plant exclusively located near Saint Trina. Owls are also included in this gathering of sleepy animals above Saint Trina's garden. Giant crows are part of the megafauna located in Kaled and the mountaintops. They don't seem capable of sustained flight, probably due to their size. One theory argues they might be taking on draconic properties. Or maybe they simply evolved to survive in a world ruled by giants and dragons. Sheep are one of the most widespread animal species in Elden Ring, which is probably not a coincidence. During the age of the Crucible, horns were associated with divinity. As such, sheep and goats might have been perceived as sacred beasts, especially by the Hornsent. Some of them are infused with lightning, likely due to consumption of fulgor bloom plants. With hunters having all but disappeared, deer roam freely across the plains of both continents. They bear a resemblance to the ancestor spirits, the spectral beings venerated by ancestor followers. Torrent, the player's spectral steed, is often speculated to be a juvenile ancestor spirit. Their species might result from a crucible mutation, joining the bodies of horses and deer. Giant bats commonly dwell near ruins of the Rao civilization, but also populate caves, mines, and forts. As expected from nocturnal predators, they often sit idly or hang from ruins by day, becoming far more active and aggressive at night. They're often encountered near winged dames, whose mournful Latin chant blames a golden one for their circumstances. Many factions use domesticated horses as mounts, mainly for military purposes. Clearly, mounted combat was highly valued under the Golden Order. The game's most famous horse might be Radahn's loyal companion, Leonard, who supports his master's weight with the help of gravity magic. Dogs are often found near human or beastmen dwellings, while others live out in the wild. They are represented in Ool reliefs, meaning they've been around since the earliest civilizations. Curiously, some of the giant dogs have collars around their necks. This implies they were domesticated in the past, possibly by giants. Elden Ring's hippos are exclusively found in the Land of Shadow and are likely native to Rao. Due to crucible mutations, their bodies feature horn-like growths, including a massive one above their snouts. One of them can also manifest golden spikes in the manner of a porcupine. Hippos are predominantly herbivores. Maybe that explains why they drop shadow tree fragments. Bears are some of nature's mightiest and most feared predators. Their position at the top of the food chain explains why they're found in so many regions, dominating local ecosystems. In Elden Ring, though, common specimens are dwarfed by the much larger rune bears. Rune bears presumably grew in size by eating runes, as evidenced by their golden excrement. The roar of Rugaela ties them to divine beast invocation, a hornsent discipline that can channel primal powers. Of all animal species, wolves carry the most narrative weight in Elden Ring lore. They are connected to the demigods in several ways, especially Radagon and the Carian branch of the family. They can also be humanoid hybrids known as shadow-bound beasts, loyal blades of the Empyrean lineage. Additionally, some wolves live in harmony with Albinorics, as illustrated by Latena's kinship with her wolf Lobo. Wolf iconography dates back to the ancient dragons, as evidenced by this mysterious statue in Farum Azula. As such, it's entirely possible that Malekith or his progenitors were around long before the time of Marika's reign. Basilisks are amphibious creatures that haunt many regions of the lands between, favoring places tainted by death. The grotesque, bulbous eyes on their heads are a deception. Their true eyes are small and set far back near the snout. These false eyes resemble Godwyn's cadaver, with similar pupils featured in the tainted roots spreading throughout the world. When threatened, they're able to exhale deathblight, one of the most lethal elements in the setting. Snakes are a surprisingly rare sight in-game, which is curious considering how prevalent they are in known lore. Indeed, many hints imply serpents were influential in the past, such as depraved perfumer aprons. There's also the Godskin apostles, who clearly exhibit serpentine characteristics. The god-devouring serpent is an ancient beast who was presumably worshipped in past ages. He can be found in his lair under the volcano Manor, his consumption of Rykard granting them both great power. Mesmer is also linked to serpents. They seem to live within him as part of his organism, sealed behind Marika's iris of grace. Once Mesmer shatters the iris, the abyssal serpent is unleashed, revealing the demigod's true nature. Snakes were likely considered blasphemous creatures. So, maybe they were driven to extinction by the Golden Order, which would explain why none of them are found in the wild. Many turtles can be found roaming in Limgrave and Liurnia, often near rise towers. In the past, turtles held deep symbolic value to the lands between's inhabitants, so much so that eating their meat was considered barbaric. They were known for their wisdom and intelligence, but also their stamina and tirelessness. They seemed especially valued by astrologers and the Carian lineage, considering how many of their towers are named after them. The Land of Shadows turtles were affected by crucible mutations, which granted them hair and horns. We also know of two-headed turtles, who were favorite study subjects of Hornsent scholars. As some of the longest living animals in the natural world, turtles witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, making them a valuable source of knowledge. Maybe that's why the sentient turtle Miriel was chosen as Pastor of Vows, a religious office once recognized by both the Carians and the Golden Order. Today, Miriel still holds this position, warmly welcoming visitors to the ruined Church of Vows.
You're tarnished, aren't you? I welcome you to the Church of Vows.
It is thanks to him that the Tarnished learns of Radagon and Renala's past, unveiling a major piece of Elden Ring's history. If you enjoy my content, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.